Well, I'm in the kitchen today and I am making today, we call it Kapusta. So my mother's side of the family, we're Ukrainian and Polish, and people have often asked me about this recipe. So I thought, hey, why not do a recording? And then I'm actually going to make pierogies today again for the first time in like 100 years, because my sister normally does that. I normally host a big family dinner and we can't do that this year. So, and they were sold out of ham in Bruce Mines. So ribs it is. So we have 4 big rack of ribs, and I've got the sauerkraut ready. So, and the bacon and onions is already cooking on the stove here. So I think, yeah, that works. Okay, so I've already started preparing it. I boiled this last night. I boiled it last night for a couple hours on just a low rolling boil because it softens it up. And I think I said this, so we call this Kapusta once this dish is done. Now, I don't speak Polish or Ukrainian, unfortunately. Very, very little, but I'm gonna bake it in the oven with bacon and onions and garlic and sauerkraut and also some kielbasa, Polish sausage. So I normally start this because it's a big process. It takes a while, and the longer it actually sits together, the more flavorful it is. But I literally have to, I boiled it and I let it cool overnight. Rinsed it really well because I don't want all that excess brine. It's a little bit too strong. And I actually literally squeeze this out because it's so full of water. I want to, so if you can see that, get that out of there. So it's nice and dry, and it actually stings a little too, especially right now because I'm washing my hands a gazillion times. But yeah, so I prepared some in advance because this takes a little bit of time. And again, this is only 2 jars, so normally I'll do, if it's a really big group, I'll do 4 or 6 even sometimes. So that's that. Now, I'm going to add this to my bacon and onions. So normally I have a wooden spoon. I'm not in my kitchen. Never thought of bringing it because I prefer using a wooden spoon over these, but we are making do, which is okay. And I'm gonna add this to my bacon and onions. And I'm gonna cut up some of that nice kielbasa. And I was only able to find a little bit. So I'm gonna fry this up just a little bit so it gets, just so it turns color. I don't measure very often unless I'm baking. So I just kind of go with, I mean, this spatula is gonna be hard on me. So I'll get that all stirred in. I made some extra bacon and onions here too for the pierogies, but I think I'm going to have to cook more. That won't be enough because you need a lot of that. It's delicious. So these will have to be, I gotta get those going soon. That ribs, I have to prepare those and let them marinate. So cut up a little bit of garlic. Should have done this earlier. Never have too much garlic. So once I get that all combined, I'm going to put it in a pan and throw it in the oven on, probably go around 300 and let it cook just bake low for a couple hours. You don't want to dry it out. I normally add quite a bit of oil on top. So I'm going to proceed to the next steps and I'll be back to show you that part. All right, so my garbage bowl going. So I got all this in the frying pan. I found this little thing I bought to make the cheesecake I have planned to do later. The oven is on. So I gotta oil this pan up. You have to make sure the casserole dish you put your kapusta in, or bigos. Sometimes I've heard people call it bigos. I just like it with the sauerkraut though. I don't put the fresh cabbage in. And And the other reason for boiling it too, I find it helps make it a little bit, not quite as hard on your digestive system. Cabbage tends to be a little tough sometimes to digest. So there was definitely a shortage of kielbasa too. Normally I want to buy like really big link of it, but that didn't happen today, and that's okay. I am learning how to adapt. It makes me a more adaptable person, this whole thing. All right, so I think I might use the big one. So this is what it looks like. So it's all fried. Doesn't that look delicious? So, and this is why I normally do it a day or so in advance, especially if I'm having a lot of people. I'm pretty sure one of my nieces or cousins, I should say, or one of my cousins asked me how to make this too. So it's really not hard. Don't add salt. There's plenty of salt. You really, honestly, I don't add any seasoning because I just like the taste of the bacon and onions and except garlic, of course. I put a few cloves of fresh garlic in here and just smooth it around. And then we're actually going to have this tonight. We decided to do this tonight. So normally I would just cover this up now and put it in the cold room and put it in the oven first thing in the morning on the day that we're going to have it, because it's always good when it sits for a while. But this will be good too. So look at that. It's in the dish. And normally I have something a little deeper, maybe pulls it together more. I'm gonna have to really watch this so that it doesn't get burnt. Actually, I'm gonna put some foil over top of it. And that way, it'll be up in the oven. My oven is making a weird noise. It better last. I think I just jinxed it. So while this is cooking, I'll have to replace the rack. The ribs are going to go on the barbecue, which is kind of nice. And normally we would never have ribs for Easter, but that's okay. It's gonna be good. Kids will be happy. And we had turkey recently, so that's why we decided not to have turkey. And so that's in the oven, and I'm going to let it cook for a really long time, just keeping my eye on it. So I want it to be kind of, it'll be softer, and you'll be able to smell it. So I would say I'll probably let it cook for 3 hours at least. Check on it, maybe cover it up, and then just keep it warm afterwards. So I will show you the finished product. All right, so now we are moving on to pierogi time. I have not made pierogies in a very long time. My sister normally does this. I would do a lot of the other stuff. We started to, everybody kind of contribute because it really made it easier. So I would normally host, and so I've got 3 cups of flour in here, just all-purpose flour I used. And because I still don't have any wooden spoons at this place, I'm going to use this little guy and hope it works. So this is the dough, and I've never done this before. This is not how we used to make it. I actually completely forget. I used to make it with my baba all the time. And that kapusta I made earlier, that I started, it's in the oven, is really, really good in pierogi dough as well. You just have to chop it up a little bit smaller and run it through a food processor or something. Really, really super delicious in pierogies. So what I'm told, I also need a teaspoon of salt. So, and there's also no measuring spoons here. So is that a teaspoon? I think that's a little too much. So let's just kind of go like that. And a little bit more, and that's it. We don't need it too salty. Okay. So, making the mess. All right, so I'm gonna make a well in the middle just because I need to. And I'm going to take this entire tub of sour cream and put it in here. And I always buy like the full fat sour cream. Because why have sour cream unless it has full fat? So normally I love the gold one. That's like so thick you could turn it upside down, it doesn't fall out. And this one doesn't either. So here it goes. So yeah, I've never done this before, but I guess sour cream has all the ingredients necessary that you would normally put in to make pierogies. I also love, we call them sed pareha. Pareha means pierogi in Ukrainian. And I love the sed ones. They were my favorite by far. I haven't had it since I was a kid. And it's just basically, my grandparents used to get the, I'm making a mess, I don't have the proper tools and no thing, what's that called? Apron! I have no, lost for words right now. No apron to use in this place either. I'm gonna have to makeshift one. Okay, so it's getting a nice consistency. This really is like magic. Look at that. It's all coming together and it looks like, and I've washed my hands many, many times. I end up getting my hands in here. So I'm gonna make this ahead of time. So my kids are actually going to learn how to make pierogies today because one of the reasons why I stopped doing it just takes so long. And, but it's fun because the pinching and everything, that's the really important part, because if you don't pinch the dough properly once you fill it and you boil them, they all fall apart. And yeah, pierogi soup. So I'm gonna get right in here and, can you see, there we go. It's a little sticky still. And I'm gonna get some, I'm trying to find somebody who's willing to help with the potato peeling part because that's something else I'm not a fan of. So this is really coming together nicely. This is actually really fun. So just kneading it up. So I used to have a pierogi board that was my baba's as well, and I gave my sister that because she became pierogi lady in the family. But the one thing I know about this COVID virus is that we seem to be doing a lot of things that we used to do and maybe learning new things. So that's where I really want my kids to learn how to cut these out. There's no rolling pin here either, so I'm going to also do something else for that. And I'm leaning towards a wine bottle for that job, probably a full one. It'll give me a little more weight. Jamie Oliver taught me that trick. I saw this morning actually, he was making a chocolate tart and he used a wine bottle to roll out the dough, and I thought that was pretty brilliant. So, real life. So it's still a little sticky. I'm gonna put a little bit more flour in. I actually feel my heart, like beating a little hard right now. It's exercise. Kneading dough is so satisfying. So I'm not gonna do this too much because I don't want it to be tough. I just didn't want it to be sticky. And it still is. I'm turning it inside out and it's good. All right, so I'm going to put this in the fridge and let it cool off. I'm not gonna add any more flour because I want to be able to work with it, and I can add flour as I roll it out. I did. As I said it, I added more. So just need a touch more. Kind of do it for, you know, for your feeling, right? And so let this cool down, and then I'm going to roll it out with probably my wine bottle rolling pin, and teach the kids how to cut some shapes right after they peel the potatoes so we can make filling. Okay, so I did not film this. So we peeled and mashed potatoes and then added old cheddar cheese and put the lid on so the cheese all melty, and stirred all that, smashed that up together with a potato masher, and then I sauteed some onions and stirred those in. So this is the filling for our pareja, or pierogi, whatever you'd like to call them. This is what we're going to do. And kids are getting ready. They're going to help learn how to roll out the dough. The wine bottle's been cleaned, sterilized, and we're gonna put some, we're just using the countertop. We have a nice depth on the other side of the kitchen here. We're going to flour it and roll it out and cut out the shapes and start to pinch them. The Kapusta actually is midway. We could see that. So that came out of the oven because I had to put the graham cracker crust in, and we have the cheesecake batter. So we'll just do this isn't part of this whole video, but we got Deep, the sous chef Deep over here, and the cheesecake batter is going in that. And yeah, we're gonna have some deliciousness. And the ribs are still nicely cooking around 200 degrees in the barbecue, and all covered up in their own fat. So we are going to get ready with the dough. So it is nicely chilled in the fridge. The filling looks amazing. It's got a nice color to it. And that's normally how I judge how much cheese that I put in, is the color of it. So it's not like bright orange like cheese, obviously, but it's no longer white potato color. It has a nice orange to it, like a creamsicle color. And it's nice and smooth. They did a very good job, all our helpers, mashing that up. So we're gonna move this over to, we'll do the dough first. There we go, okay. Do that, we'll dry it off. And it's not a super smooth surface, but that's okay. We have our dough, our pierogi dough. We'll get some flour on here. All right. So I will, we don't have a dough cutter here. So we'll just use a big knife. Does the same thing. So, and yeah, that's nice actually. So 2 pieces. Everybody washed their hands a gazillion times. Okay, so I can promise you, I have never rolled out pierogi dough with a bottle of Chardonnay. There's always a first time for everything. And let's see if this will work. Don't forget, I have not made pierogies for a gazillion years. But
there you go. Desperate
times, desperate measures. Look at that. And I'm going to enjoy the Chardonnay afterwards. Okay, guys, so we need a glass. Probably, you know what? Let's keep the theme. We'll use a wine glass. So because we're just improvising here and using what we have, so that's great. So we'll introduce Ava. So we have a lot of rolling to do yet, though. This is way too thick. So actually, if we need a couple pizza pans ready too, because we're gonna put the pierogi on those. You want to get that ready. They're at the bottom end of the oven. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, I wish I had a rolling pin. Okay. All right, we're gonna get this rolled out, and then we will start the camera again. Okay, so it does work. So I had the dough a little too cool. So I think putting it in the fridge might have been a mistake. Again, it's been a very long time. So we need Spencer here too. So this is an opportunity for me to teach my children and my surrogate children how to make pierogi. So that's a little thin in the middle. But, so what we're going to do, this actually works pretty decent as well, I have to say. So we're going to take a cup. This is a nice size, it's actually pretty perfect. And I'm showing you too, honey. Just dip it in the flour, and you want to get as many of course as you possibly can. And then with the remnants after, we'll just re-roll it into the other one. This could be a little sharper on the edge, but it works. And then normally I just thumb it out like this. I need a tablespoon. No, no fork, just a tablespoon. Just using our hands as old-fashioned way. We open up. So you just take, just like making any other type of dumpling, you know, all it is. And you push it in with your finger here. You start, I normally start in the middle and then pinch around. And again, when you make pierogies, you want to make sure they are sealed. So we might need a little bit of, that's okay. So I could use a little bit of water maybe. And then we have one, just like that. Look at that. Could probably use something that was a little bit bigger, but that's not too bad. But like once you pinch it, then go back and do it again. Make sure you have, so we have Ava and Reese and Dee. And Spencer, get back here. He just ran away. Oh.
Okay, what do you want me to
And by
do?
the way, we all are in the same household. So that's why we're all together.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to try and make a pierogi. So put your flour on here, cut one out. This is really thin on this spot. Too thin there. I will push it down really good and twist, 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 twist. There you go. What are you doing, guys? Yeah, use your fingers. Shove that right in there so the pastry or the filling's not in between the pastry. Good. Oh my goodness! That just brings back memories of me and my baba. So you're gonna just push it out just a little bit, and you put it in your hand, and you're gonna put a scoop.
A pierogi.
Yeah, about that. Good job! Look at that! So yeah, just make sure you got it all pinched really good. And
Exciting.
do you have more flour in there? That's good.
This is good.
There we go. 2 down, guys. I think it's wine o'clock. So we've been busy doing lots of stuff here. So while they're doing that, I'm going to pour this filling. Where's that spatula? That's awesome. And this is going into the oven. And this is 305.
You gotta pinch the ends a lot better.
Yeah, you gotta make sure they're really together.
Because your pierogies are gonna fall apart. Yeah. Your pierogies are gonna fall apart. His pierogies are gonna fall apart. Just
You don't have to.
Okay. In the oven. And timer goes on. Oh, it's another thing. Oh, my back's sore. This is fun. Okay, back to pierogi progress over here. Okay, so our pierogies turned out amazing. Look at that. I put them in the fridge. These are great if you want to freeze them for another day. You put them on this pan. cover it with some saran, put them in the freezer, and then you can transfer them to bags. But we are gonna eat them. So we have 2 trays like this, and then we have a smaller one. And Ava said that it was in her blood to make these, but she made these this is the largest pierogi I've ever seen. And she didn't put flour in here. Anyway, it's okay. So big pierogies. So water's boiling, and it's time for them to go in. The ribs are ready. They're off the barbecue. So I did put a little salt in here already. And when these rise to the top, they are, move these around this way. When these rise to the top, they're done. Make sure they're not sticking. Basically. So the flames high here. Oops. We do these in small batches. Oh, and the pizza dough is rising, and I made another batch too because it's always good to have extra pizza dough. I have not left the kitchen today. This has been great. I rarely have an opportunity to do this, and yeah, but that cake is ready. It's ready for the blueberries to go on top. These are ready. The bacon's ready, so I'm gonna take them out, scoop them out, and put them in the pan with the bacon and onions, and saute them together. And that way, this isn't hot right now, but I will warm it up. And this deliciousness with the bacon grease in it, I know it's terrible. And I'll add some butter, and pierogies go in it, and then they will, we're not gonna make them crispy or anything, just get it all blended up together. Actually, get this warming up now. I don't want to add too many to the pot here because these are super fresh and, you know, I want to rush it. So, all boiling, and we will show the finished product. Okay, and the pierogies are on the table, and the ribs, we have some hot and some sweet and savory, and the kapusta in a bowl, and some beans, and everybody's plate is full.